Alright, so our edit's looking pretty good at this point. In this video, I want to talk about how to use stabilization. Now, I shot this whole video with the glide cam, and that's the thing with using post-stabilization software. You want to make sure your clips are already pretty dang smooth. It's not going to work very well if you're doing handheld and super shaky. So first tip is to make sure you're shooting the shots as smooth as you possibly can. But even me, I'm not perfect and I have a little bit of wobble at times. So, and these are slowed down too, by the way, which helps make it look even smoother. Our outro clip is a little bit wobbly back and forth. You can kind of see it wobbling back and forth here. So I might want to stabilize this just to smooth it out even a little bit more. So click on the clip here and then come down here in your effects panel and hit stabilization. And then right here it says it's analyzing for dominant motion, and you can come up here and see how long it's going to take. You see that it's rendering there. Only took maybe 10 seconds, and now it is stabilized. Let's watch it, see how it looks. So that looks pretty good. Sometimes the automatic setting isn't going to look as good, and you might want to play around with some of these settings like inertia cam or smooth cam. And then within those different settings, you can adjust each parameter to fine tune that stabilization. Now again, because this clip was already really smooth, it looks just great on any of these settings, but let's find a clip that might not look as good. Now on this project, I didn't have a ton of shots that needed stabilization, and in general, I really don't use post-stabilization software that much, but there are times that I do use it when I want to smooth out a shot even more. Here's a shot from southern Utah that I took. We'll show it to you without stabilization. So it's already pretty smooth, but there's just a little bit of left and right going on, and so it's not perfectly smooth. So this is what it looks like with stabilization, and you see that it punches in on the image just a little bit, so be aware that you are going to lose a little bit of resolution when using stabilization. And this is on the automatic setting. So you see it smoothed out some of those imperfections just a little bit. Now I will say that Premiere Pro does a better job with stabilization. Their tool is called Warp Stabilizer, and you'll see the same clip but with Warp Stabilizer applied, and see how it looks. Their software just does a little bit better job of smoothing that out, those left and right tilts, and there's usually less warping going on. Now let's change this to inertia cam, and as you watch this back, you're going to see some warping going on where the image is kind of coming back and forth, especially there at the end. Watch how it just kind of looks like jello. So just be aware that can happen when you try and use the stabilization effect. It doesn't do as good of a job as Warp Stabilizer does in Premiere. Now again, if your clips aren't very smooth to begin with, you're probably going to see some warping artifacts going on, and that just means you're going to have to turn down some of these parameters within the stabilizer options until you get an image that is stabilized but not warpy and distorted. So just kind of a game going back and forth again, adjusting those parameters. But that's it for stabilization. If you have any further questions, please let me know.